50% are Muslim, 48.1% is Christian. And just that little bit of difference. And the Christians are at the bottom. They're the ones that get persecuted. So Nigeria is a country torn by decades of violence, from large organized terror groups to small disconnected communal militias. The violence in Nigeria is endemic, sitting between the Christian majority south and the Muslim majority north. The central Middle Belt region is home to much of the violence. Their communities clash over resources, ethnic animosity, and religion every day. Christians experience a disproportionate share of the killings and kidnapping, turning the country into a dangerous place to live. This year saw numerous horrific atrocities committed against Christians. Suspected Muslim terrorists attacked and burned a Catholic seminary in Kaduna State and killed a young seminarian who was trapped in the fire. More than 20 people of the Helping Village in Plateau State were murdered by suspected radical Fulani militants one night in August. In April, a mass burial was held for 33 Christians killed during an attack against a village there in a part of Kaduna State. In the north, a radical Islamic insurgency is aligned with Islamic State and is waging an effective war against government forces. Preying on the weak and desperate, the insurgency has killed thousands and displaced many more since militarizing in 2011. Sadly, international efforts to bolster anti-terror operations in Nigeria have thus far proved ineffective.
That's very disturbing.
Isn't it? March 2023, more than 35 people were killed in March alone, and that was to discourage Christians from voting for a Christian candidate in the election cycle. March 10th, Boko Haram killed more than 30 fishermen and farmers in a terrorist attack in Borneo State. March 12th through 17th, Christians killed in 6 days through coordinated attacks by the Fulani militants. May 19th, at least 100 Christians killed in 1 week attack spread across 16 villages in Kaduna State.
This is just terrible. Terrible.
Isn't it? Due to violence conducted by Islamic State, West Africa Province, the most active official terrorist group in the region, Nigeria replaces Iraq as the country where the Islamic State is claiming the highest number of operations, with thousands of deaths and more than 2 million people displaced in the region. That was in June of 2023. The Islamic State West African province attacks a military convoy, resulting in the death of 20 Nigerian soldiers. June 16th, suspected gunmen killed a Catholic priest in Abuja while walking outside. Well, they don't stop. The Christian Association of Nigeria says, "I want to advise the present government to maintain balance and keep close to Constitution, irrespective of the religious belief of those in government. The government should respect the Constitution of Nigeria, because if the government breaks the Constitution of Nigeria on religion alone, they have already opened the door for lawlessness in the society."
That's right.
And so I've got to take a look. I don't think we have time for any more.
Yeah, we should have.
Okay, let me take a look at this one. We do have another one. And the next one is North Korea. Once again, Nigeria's Christian community is suffering at the hands of radical Fulani militants. And once again, rather than intervening, the Nigerian government continues to turn a blind eye to the violence, aiding and abetting the ongoing genocide. No longer can this trend of violence be dismissed as complicated. Regional conflict over land rights. The government's inaction on this matter is inexcusable, and the violence will only worsen unless the international community steps in. That's a quote by Jeff King, ICC president. See, you got to do something with it.
You do.
You know, you got to do more than just say, gee golly.
Yeah.
Okay. Nigeria is arguably the most dangerous place to live to be a Christian in the world today. In the north, a very hostile group of Muslim extremists have attacked and devastated the minority population of Christians. In the Middle Belt, armed Islamic terrorists known as Fulani militants have been killing Christians and stealing their land at a prodigious rate for the last 20 years. Between the mass murder and land stealing, millions of Christians have been displaced. Since May of 2011, Boko Haram alone has been recorded as being responsible for more than 38,000 deaths. Nigerian leaders tell the West that this is a complicated problem between herders and farmers with tribal overlays. But the truth is that we are witnessing a genocide of Christians in the North and Middle Belt, accompanied by an immense land grab. And so I'm going to stop there. You can read more of any of these things by going to ICC, that is persecution.org, looking for their report for 2023 of the persecuted. And next week we will be talking about North Korea, and we're going to try to do a little excerpt of it. This one had Nigeria. We've been personally covering Nigeria for a long time, and everything that I've read today, we have covered it. We have worked on it. So that's just, what can you say?
Oh, I know. It's just gut-wrenching and unbelievable, but Nigeria is the number one persecutor. They get the award for being number one.
Yeah.
Above North Korea. That's surprising.
So we will look at that as we go forward and see how many we're going to cover, because there are a few of them we want to cover because we do a lot of stuff in that. And are you ready for yours?
Yes. This is the Pakistan Brick Kiln Part 1. And this comes to us from International Concern. And Dana just said you can visit them at persecution.org. In the heart of Pakistan, where diversity is celebrated and cultural richness flows through the veins of its people, a sinister reality lays hidden, a reality that strikes at the core of humanity. Hundreds of thousands of families have endured generations of servitude with the unforgiving bonds of the brick kilns. Let us journey into the shadows of their existence, where despair and exploitation intertwine, leaving behind scars that time cannot heal. Amid the breathtaking tapestry of Pakistan's cultural diversity and linguistic richness, lies a heart-wrenching tale of suffering and struggle that often goes unnoticed. In the shadows of urban areas where the roar of progress deafens the cries of the marginalized, the brick kiln workers of Pakistan toil in a relentless cycle of despair. Pakistan boasts a mix of 512 ethnic groups and 74 language groups, a reflection of its vibrant soul. Amid this diversity, however, lies a dark tale of around 20,000 brick kilns that dot the landscape, predominantly congregating near the urban areas. Within the blasting heart of these kilns, 4.5 million souls toil, producing a staggering 1,000 bricks each day for a mere pittance of 960 rupees. The kilns blaze at temperatures reaching a scorching 1,000 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. These brick kiln laborers, often unseen and unheard, are among the most marginalized and vulnerable in Pakistan, lacking skills and resources. They labor under dire conditions, deprived of necessities such as health care, education, and sanitation. Their grueling workdays, which can stretch up to 12 agonizing hours, yield meager wages, sometimes as low as 700 rupees per day. Temporary shelters, their only refuge, offer scant ventilation and expose them to the threats of fire and accidents. A seemingly innocuous loan sets in motion a cycle of bondage that clenches generations in its cruel grip. The workers ensnared in this web of exploitation are kept in shadows, their account hidden from their eyes. For these millions who suffer, hopelessness stretches before them, an unending abyss of misery. Debt spirals like a storm gathering momentum, swallowing families whole. Illnesses, inclement weather, deaths, marriages, and births, the very fabric of life, force these workers into the jaws of the insidious trap. Falling sick or bearing a child becomes an iron chain, tethering them to the kilns until debts are repaid. The borrowed sum of the 500 rupees inflates to 1,000 rupees on paper, guaranteeing the perpetuation of poverty. High-interest loans, corrupt officials, surreptitious deductions, and doctored accounts cripple these laborers further, while their already desperate living conditions degrade even further. An agonizing helplessness blankets them as debts escalate year after year. Families torn apart, lives shattered, some surrender, paying the ultimate price of despair through suicide. And that's the end of part 1, and that is via persecution.org, International Christian Concern. I just pray that God will send a ray of hope in the midst of that darkness.
Well, there will be one day, but right now they need help. And
they do.
It just, look at this next one. We're talking about Ukraine. And we're bringing this up. We're not talking about Zelensky here, and we're not talking about money to Ukraine to keep the war going. We're talking about the people that are caught in Ukraine that need help right now. Now, the question is up front. Can you help our displaced and suffering brothers and sisters survive a bitterly cold winter in Ukraine? Now, Nastya, an elderly Christian from Poltava in eastern Ukraine, Bread was the only thing that she and her husband had left, and this